I mean, you and Lubman, are you guys going to make it to baseball season?
Why is that?
Jesus Christ! I looked at my phone yesterday. You guys went back and forth. Sabian, Farhan. Lubman will fight for Farhan. You better leave him alone with Farhan Zaidi. He will fight for Farhan.
But what is there to fight for?
I mean, I don't know. And then you guys are going back and forth.
Why do you think I get so frustrated doing it?
You guys are going back and forth like baseball's here, but I don't know if you guys are going to make it a baseball season. As Logan Webb made a spring training debut yesterday. 2 innings pitched, gave up a run, couple hits, whatever. Doesn't matter, right? I'm just locked in on Casey Schmidt. Casey Schmidt. You guys are hyping him up, so I'm going to be hyped up on him. And no, according to Mark Willard, he came in here like trying to suck the air out the room. Oh, you were so mad about Casey Schmidt. Nobody's mad about Casey Schmidt. Nobody's tripping off the Giants, homie. We got 21 games left with the Golden State Warriors. The Giants are who they are. Mm-hmm. Now, I do like the fact we were talking over the phone yesterday, Shasky, and they tried to go get Aaron Judge. They tried to go get Carlos Correa. Now, I remember I came down your road saying, if they don't get those guys, they get no credit. They get no credit. They get no credit. But now, as I set back 3 weeks before the opener or whatever opening day is, I'm not going to give them credit for going after them. But I realized that they tried to go after them, and so they tried to spin. So I'm not going to hear the argument that the Giants are cheap. Some people are saying, "Oh, the Giants don't spend money; they're cheap." Blah 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 blah. Look, they didn't get the big fish, and they spent a little bit of money, and they're in a bunch of contracts to where they got a bunch of opt-outs. I'll rather live with that than committing, like, imagine if they committed 6 years to Mitch Hediger or 6 years to Michael Conforto or 5 years. Nobody would do that.
Nobody would
so
do
thank God they didn't do that. And so in a couple years, they still have that financial flexibility. By the way, Mr. 3000,
It's a
Bernie
classic.
Mac, sleeper.
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
But, it's interesting that you bring this up. I feel like there's a misnomer amongst Giants fans. When you talk to Giants fans, like, for example, the Correa or Judge deal,
right.
There are a segment of Giants fans in my comments or that'll just text us or whatever, and they'll say, this is not how you win baseball. Big contracts aren't how you win baseball. And I have a pushback. And I'm just curious your thought.
No, I love big contracts.
Well, let me ask you this. Did the Giants do big contracts back in the day? As in during the World Series runs?
Yeah, they extended a lot of guys with big contracts.
I'm glad you said
except
that.
for Tim Lincecum.
So we agree. The price of a house today isn't the same as the price of the house 20 years ago, right? Let's go back in real time. When they gave Aaron Rowan the amount of money they gave him, it may not feel like a $300 million deal, and I'm not here to say it was.
But those 5 years.
It was a proportionate 5 for, I believe, 55 or 60 million. At the time, it was a big, big deal.
That was huge.
It wasn't these 10-year commitments, but that's what market value is today. Everyone, I'm never going to give anyone a $10 million. If Casey Schmidt comes up and shows you he's Nolan Arenado, I'm not saying he is, but let's say that the Giants, the starting price is 8 years to buy a guy out these days.
5 years, $60 million.
There you go. Okay? When they gave Matt Cain an extension, he got a 5-year, $100 million extension. All right? When they gave Buster Posey a contract, they gave him 8 years, $165 million.
Yep.
Okay?
They gave out big deals.
This thing that the Giants, Hunter Pence, 5 years, $90 million. This thing that the Giants didn't give out big deals, that's a misnomer.
Yeah. I don't know who's saying that. I don't know who's saying that, and I don't know where that came from.
Now, look, they gave Zito 7 for 132. That was astronomical.
7/126.
Whatever it was, it ended up being like that was astronomical according to those times. But my point that I'm getting at is proportionate to the era and market price of players. They were at the top of the line in terms of spending. This thing that they didn't spend premier money, that's just false.
Oh, yeah, love it.
No, I think obviously, like the whole concept, you don't win with big contracts. You want to give contracts to your homegrown players. Your Matt Cains, your Tim Lincecums, your Madison Bumgarners. You want to give long-term contracts to those guys. What you really have not seen the Giants do, really in their history, outside of, I guess, Rowan, Zito, and Barry Bonds, is throw those big money contracts at players who are not already in the organization. Hunter Pence is kind of like an in-between because they traded for him and then extended him once they had already had him. So that's kind of the big thing with the whole, you're not seeing a whole lot of big contracts.
So that's a great part. So, yes, if you're not going to land via free agency, you got to draft and develop. And my biggest issue with where the Giants are at right now is their inability to be able to draft and develop.
Yeah, there's no prospects coming up in the pipeline outside of Kyle Harrison. And I'll wait on Casey Smith because, honestly, we talked prospects all last year.
I know.
All last year we talked prospects. And Casey Smith really didn't come up until September.
Because he flew through the system last year. And so here, they give out.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be lightning in a bottle. I don't know.
It's totally fair. let's think about this, though. Joey Panic was a first-round pick, and he kind of came out of nowhere.
Right, he did.
Right? You know, Brandon Crawford kind of came out of nowhere. Well, I think he was a fourth-round pick.
Matt Duffy. I
Yeah.
mean, they just ended up on the postseason roster. And you know, they're helping you win championships.
And no one was talking about Pablo Sandoval until like probably 2 weeks after he got called up. These guys can come out of absolute nowhere.
I'll put Pablo Sandoval's 2009 season up against any Giants season in the last 20 years. Like, he's right at, like, top 10 in terms of offense. He had 25 jacks, 90 RBIs, and batted .324.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It was a
And
good
he was
year.
a switch hitter.
It was a
so
big year.
Casey Schmidt, what I was getting at is they give out gold gloves for the whole minor league system. 2 Giants got them. Bailey got a gold glove and Casey Schmidt. Now, what they're saying about Schmidt is that he rose through the ranks because he's a college prospect, right? So these guys are going to be a little older, and he's hit at every level, which they didn't think the hitting was going to come. All right, that's the part of his gloves there. They don't know if the hitting's there. The reason I'm so excited over him, B, is because we haven't seen a homegrown infielder since Matt Duffy. That was 2014.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
I mean, that was 8 years ago.
And he may have been, I mean, I know Chris Bryant stole the Rookie of the Year that season. Matt Duffy played like a Rookie of the Year. He was in
really
the
good.
argument. He was
Yeah,
really,
he was
really
really
good.
good.
So we'll see on Casey Schmidt. I just feel like all the hype that we have. What's going on? What happened now?
He's going, what about Christian Arroyo in 2017?
Wow. You're going to distract my guy.
I know. He said it twice in my
Christian
ear.
Arroyo? For Christian Arroyo? Is that a Sabian save?
The guy they wouldn't give up to go
Why
get
don't you
Stanton.
guys just fight it out over Sabian and Farhad? I'll sit
There's
back and
nothing to
spit on
fight. Sabian was the
you.
better
You guys
GM.
are-
Arroyo was good with the Red Sox. What are we doing here? Come on.
After
Was
getting
solid.
the timeout, after getting a minor league contract to come to spring training, because he was with Tampa Bay and he was terrible.
Got to give him credit.
Did you know that Jason Hayward is in the Dodgers
I
organization
saw-
right now?
Yeah, he signed with them.
I couldn't believe that.
So Casey Schmidt, second round pick in the 2020 MLB June draft out of San Diego State.
Tony Gwynn.
Went to Eastlake High School, Chula Vista,
Marshall
California. My sister lives down in Chula
Really?
Vista. So, yeah, I like Chula Vista.
It's a good big baseball area.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Shout out the Townsend family.
So he batted last year with Richmond, 342. Casey Schmidt batted 29 strikeouts and 120 at-bats, just 3 home runs, 16 RBIs. But in Eugene, Oregon, he did hit 17 jacks. So I'm not sure how much power he has. I'm not sure about his glove. I guess we'll see. And what do the Giants have to lose by playing them? And here's the deal. My biggest problem with the Giants, even with Brian Sabian, even with Bobby Evans, not playing prospects. Play your prospects. Let's see what you got. Instead of having them stuck in Sacramento with the River Cats or whatnot. That's the problem with Joey Bart. Just let the guy play at the major league level. Let's see what you got. And Joey Bart's still competing for the catcher job, which is mind-boggling. We don't even talk about him anymore.
I mean, he's not a prospect. When you're 26 years old, you're not a prospect. Like, that's my biggest issue with the Giants in general. They don't play their young guys. And so I'm heading into this year, and the reason why I'm so, excited about Casey Schmidt, he's 23 years old. He plays third base. We have not had a elite young third baseman since Matt Williams.
Oh, it's been a long time. David Bell, maybe for 1 year?
Bill Miller, for a year.
Little Billy Miller?
Yeah, but like, I'm talking about a guy that's been here for multiple seasons. Like, even Matt Duffy was converted to third base, and he was good. And I actually still stand by that trade that they traded for Matt Morris. They needed a lefty.
No, Matt Moore was. People forget Matt Moore was really good in 2016.
I know. And
the second half, he almost threw the no-hitter in Dodger Stadium.
Exactly.
He should have gotten the ball in the ninth inning in Game 4 against the Chicago Cubs at Oracle Park. Don't know why he was pulled. Bochy goes to 5 relievers when the relievers stunk in the second half of the season. Then you got a Game 5 with Johnny Cueto and Johnny Lester. Would have been epic, but Cubs won the World Series. They win that Game 4 in Raleigh.